In Unit 1, Lesson 4, let's take a look at how to multiply exponents when they involve factors and coefficients. In our first example, we have 3 times 5 raised to the second power. Now, one way to do that is quickly to just realize that 3 times 5 is 15, and raise that to the second power. And I'll let you punch that into your calculator to figure that out. However, I can also see this like this. By looking at 3 times 5 raised to the second power, what I know is that I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to raise it to the second power. And I'm also going to take 5 and raise it to the second power, so that I wind up with 3 to the second power times 5 to the second power. So this is equal to this. So that gives me 3 to the second power is 9 times 5 to the second power is 25. And when you punch that into your calculator, you're going to get 225. So remember that I can multiply these together and raise it to the second power, but the more important thing to know is that I can raise each one of these to the second power and then multiply them together. So let's apply that at the next level using coefficients. In this case, we've got 4a to the second power. Now this time, it's not as easy as simply multiplying these together because it doesn't give me a number. It gives me a coefficient and a variable. So what I've got to do is follow the rule that I used here. I can raise both of these factors to the second power and then multiply them by each other. So what I wind up with is 4 to the second power times a to the second power. Now don't be fooled. A lot of times what people will do is they'll just take this and they'll say that's 4a to the second. But it's not. It's 4 to the second times a to the second, which gives us actually 16a to the second. Then we've got one more down here. This is 9x to the 7th, and we're going to raise that to the second power. Once again, we're going to take 9 and we're going to raise it to the second power. So 9 to the second power. Don't forget, you can't just bring the 9 over like this. That won't work. You have to raise it to the second power. And then you're going to take x to the 7th power and raise it to the second. Well, that's going to allow us to multiply these two exponents together. And that's going to give us 9 to the second times x to the 14th. And then when I put those together, 9 to the second is 81x to the 14th. No big deal. Practice problems. 3y to the 4th, all together raised to the 3rd power. Once again, I'll take 3 to the 3rd, and I'll multiply that by y to the 12th. Y to the 12th. 3 to the 3rd is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, so 27y to the 12th. And this one is maybe not an example you'll see very often, but I want to make sure that you understand. In this case, the only thing that we're raising to the power is the y inside the parentheses. So in this case, because the y is blocked off in parentheses, the y to the second, we're just going to bring the 9 over because we know that that's 9 times y to the second to the 3rd. And once again, we'll multiply our exponents. That's going to give us y to the 6th. And our answer will be 9y to the 6th. The end.